welcome to another episode of Voicing Artists' Original Characters. We will get started right away once again. No intro needed, no build-up. Today we are working with an artist named OVO, pronoun she, her. Their character's name is Kaede. Now, this is a lovely looking character. We have the nice privilege of having some drawings that are a little older in style, older versions of the character, as well as having current drawings. So the newer drawings are the ones with the pinkish purple underneath Kaede's black hair, especially this very cool one with the Nova title, which is where Kaede is from. It's one of OVO's original projects. I've got a little bit of universe and history for Kaede here. She is very school-driven, so she's very much about learning, her education, and wanting to be the best of the best. And she wants to get into criminal justice because her brother went for it, and she looks up to him quite a bit, even though their relationship is a little strained. That is the history that we have for Kaede. So we know she's into criminal justice, we know she's very dedicated to her studies and to her education, and all of these things are probably going to show themselves in her character personality traits, which we do have quite a few of from the artist. The artist has said that Kaede is responsible, stoic, observant. She notices things around her, like picking up on body language and slight social cues, which makes sense if she wants to go into criminal justice. If you've ever seen something like Criminal Minds, Mindhunter, and programs like that are all about the inner workings and brain functioning of people who are criminals and do murders or killings or serious things like that. So it makes sense that she'd be a little bit more observant because she needs to pick up on these things in order to go in the field that she wants to be in. She's determined and does not give up easily. She's also blunt and straightforward, but she has good intentions, even though she can come across a little bit rude or a little bit unapproachable because of how straightforward she is. She also has good intuition, which goes back to being observant, because if she can notice little traits and things around her, then her intuition can more often than not be like, oh, this is bad or this is not good. Those are the personality traits that come from the artist, and I think they make a good amount of sense here. Especially in a lot of these photos, she sort of gives off that I'm more of a listener rather than a speaker energy, where she wants to see what you will provide her, what information your body language and your words and your energy will give her, so that she can then make correct judgments. She can be in the right side of things, make sure if she is dealing with a criminal or someone of that nature, that she doesn't step too far, or she doesn't cause you to get unhinged or things like that. And in a lot of these drawings, you can see she has more of a side eye where she's not smiling. Her face is very clearly down. Her body posture is inwards. She's looking at you at the side. It's very much watchful. It's very thoughtful. It's very, I'm seeing what you're going to give me, and I'm not going to give you anything so that you can observe me. I'm going to make sure you can't tell what I'm thinking, even though I can tell what you're thinking. That comes across in quite a few of these drawings here. Another thing I want to say about these drawings is I love these expression ones, these sketches, because they give me really strong anime vibes. And what I mean by that is, in anime, there tends to be a lot of noises that characters make, like gasps and laughing and crying and just little noises here and there rather than having dialogue. And it's something that anime is well known for, and these little exclamation point and question marks and little symbols on this one drawing with the dazed face give me that sort of energy. So I feel like you would turn the corner or 2 seconds into every episode, right, with all these emotions, she'd have little noises of things like yeah type of thing, or hmm uh, 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 hmm. Like those little noises. Not necessarily important, but I think it's fun sometimes to notice things like that with the expressions and have little bits of noises that get paired with it. And sometimes we don't think about how those are recorded as well and put into games and put into shows. So that was just a little fun example of some anime noises. They're fun to do on your own time. I highly recommend them. Some character traits that I perceive from these drawings are driven for sure. The artist said that she's school driven. I think she's driven in probably a lot of ways. She is very determined to go on this path and to do anything she needs to do to be able to work in this field. Maybe it's to get closer to her brother. Maybe it's because she enjoys the passion. Maybe she believes in law and righteous and judgment. Who knows? Doesn't matter. The important part is that she's going to do it regardless. She will be the top of her class. She will go into criminal justice. She will do these things. There is no if and or but about it. Not in her mind, not in her work ethic, not in anything. I would also say she's perceptive, like we had earlier with observant. I get rational, calculating, logical, very level-headed. All of these things track with each other because often, we've talked about it before, you either react, you feel an emotion, you live in the emotion, or you go into your logical brain, and so you process it, and then you respond off of that. I think based on the way that she is personality-wise, she would probably be on that logical side. She is processing something. She's going, oh, this emotion is caused by this thing, which is caused by this thing, which the body language is also doing this because I'm in this emotional state, and that's where I think that her brain is. So I think she's very level-headed, very calm, and can suss these things out in other people. Maybe not to her own self in that degree, but we'll play with that a bit when we go into emotions. The other thing that usually comes along with characters like this, who tend to be more of detective types, of police types, of investigator types in animes or stories or things of this nature, they tend to be a little impartial, a little apathetic. Now, oftentimes when we say that, we're thinking not emotional at all. We're thinking they can let any sort of morality go outside the window and not care about it. And that's not quite what I mean. I think that her apathy or her impartialness comes more on a logical side of things because she clearly has some emotions. If we look at some of these sketches here, we can see she's smiling in quite a few of these. She has little blush on her cheeks in one of them. She's got beautiful open eyes and a smile in this close-up. She's got a little bit of dazed, maybe just being awake. She's got a little bit of an angry, frustrated. She's got a little bit of a suspicious. So she has these emotions. She's feeling these things. But I think when it comes to other people, especially in the field of criminal justice, and when it comes to her observant nature, she might make judgments about them in an impartial way, where she is on the side of, you're reacting in this way emotionally, and I can tell because this, that, then, or there, you need to do this, that, then, or this in order to stop and think logically. I don't think emotion or how the person is feeling is the first thing that comes to her. And that goes with the observant nature. That goes with the sort of standoffish, blunt, straightforward. She's very blunt and she's very straightforward. And that usually comes from a place of, I don't understand why you're upset. Here's the answer. So just do the answer. So I think those tie into each other quite a bit. The other thing that I think is sneaky in these drawings that some might not notice that'll be fun to play with is I think Kaede may be a bit of a nerd. I think she's a little geeky. I think she's a little more shy than we're giving her credit for, and then she wants to project to the world. And the reason that I say this is if you look at the drawings where she's got the handbag on her arm. Now, these are older versions, but we'll see it in a newer one as well. She has little pins, little keychains on this bag that are colorful, they're cute, they're adorable, and that is like radiating little nerd energy. Like Phineas and Ferb, Candace with the Ducky Momo pin is the energy it's giving me. And it's very small, but it's still there. It still means enough to her that she has it there. It's probably something that she wouldn't necessarily talk about or she doesn't necessarily go for. But in one of these newer pictures as well, she has a little black and white bear hanging off of her clothes as a little keychain. So I think there's a part of her that likes to indulge in these nicer emotions, in these cuter things, in these things that just make her heart flutter. It's just that on the outside, she projects this sort of cold, unapproachable, intelligent individual. And so I think maybe because she's so logical when she observes other people and when she analyzes other people, that dealing with herself and her own emotions can be a little uncomfortable. It can be a little, I don't know what to do. Especially with the little drawing where her cheeks are blushed up, I could see that easily someone being complimenting her or making her really happy and making her smile, and she doesn't really know how to deal with that because she's like, no, I can't like you. Don't compliment me. What are you doing? No, my emotions are taking over. That's not supposed to happen. So I think we might play with that a bit when we get into those emotions. There's also in this older drawing, there's what looks like either a chibi version of Kaede or a younger version of Kaede in this left corner. Now, I think it's a younger version of her because she's got sort of this big green sweater on and she's got more of a childlike look on her. And I love the idea that there's a bit of an age difference here. You can see her as an adult, and then you can see her as a little one, and she's still carrying this bag, which is really cute because that means that the pins and things on it, or maybe the bag itself, is actually meaningful to her. And so that's a good thing to keep in mind too, is that, she has these things that make her comfortable that we can play around with a bit. Before we get into those, let's do our neutral line. So I think our perfect neutral line here is gonna be using her front. I think it's gonna be a bit more straightforward, a bit more blunt, a bit more emotionless, and that will give us a good base point to start from. So let's see what we can do.
The class wouldn't be that hard if you studied. It's not meant as an insult, merely a suggestion.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that for her. She doesn't mean to be a mean girl about it. She's not trying to be a bitch. She's not trying to be snarky, right? There's no, none of that energy. There's no sarcasm. She's literally trying to give someone a solution. Like someone in her class is like not doing well and it's like, oh, why do I always do so bad? And she's like, because you don't study. It's not meant to be an insult. It's just genuinely meant to be, that's why. So if you fix that problem, you'll be fine. And I love that she sort of sees the world that way and she sees other people in that way of, you have a problem, here's the solution or the answer, do it, bam, you're done. It's fixed. It's over. That's how it works. There's always a formula. There's always like a mathematic problem, an equation that gives you the answer. You just have to do it. So I like that for her neutral state. Now, let's go back to that cute little one where she's blushing and let's play with this for her happy. Let's do exactly what we were talking about, where somebody starts becoming friends with her, they're making a friendship with her, and they compliment her or they say something about her or to her or about something that she likes that makes her just happy, like genuinely, purely little butterflies in her stomach, little nervous. She's like, oh, that thank you type of thing, right? But she doesn't know how to handle it because that's not how she is. You don't deal with those feelings, those emotions. You put them aside because they're blockers, right? They block the answer from you, and we don't want that. So let's play with that for happy.
Thanks. I've never met someone who likes that show too.
Yeah, I like that. It's very subtle. It's very calm. It's very slow. It's very toned down. And I think that's what we want to ride with for Kaede here. Even that pure feeling of emotion is just the tiniest little baby spark where it's like, oh, thank you. I don't know what to do from here, right? That's sort of where it's at. It's not overwhelming to the point where we've done a character earlier where they kind of go like yandere mode or tsundere mode where they're like, shut up, you're stupid, don't do that. It's not quite that. She's not insulting, right? She's not like, oh my god, wow, you're an idiot. But it's also not like, I feel no emotion, I am a robot, I don't know what this is. It's more of like, oh, this is nice. I don't know what to do with it, but this is nice type of thing. And I like that for Kaede. I think that is a genuine expression of emotion that we don't see very often, and maybe we can take that into her other emotions too. Let's move into anger and see if we can do that. There's one drawing in particular that I think will work for anger here. there's this little mad face that is a good expression of what seems like frustration, what seems like uncomfortability, what seems like a little bit of anger. And on the newer drawing, with the question mark and the exclamation point, it's a bit of misunderstood anger. So it's a bit of, what in the hell are you doing? Versus, I hate you. And I think that also goes with the other sketch as well. So I think these two are the ones we're going to go off of, because her anger, I think, comes more from a place of not understanding. And that's the exact same thing with her happiness, right? Whereas happiness is something we're like, oh, I don't get it, but I'm really glad I get to enjoy this feeling right now. Anger might be a bit of more, whoa, like, I don't know what the shit's happening, but it needs to stop type of feeling. So let's play with it a bit. Let's see what we might do for Kaede to make her angry. So I think when we go with anger with Kaede here, we're going to do one of those ones where it kind of molds into other feelings. Because rather than go pure, I'm angry at this thing, I think I want to go with the idea that maybe she has come across a person who plays the system really well. And what I mean by that is someone who is less moral. Let's just go with a criminal. You see it often in those shows I was talking about with like murderers and serial killers and things like that, where they play really good mind games. They're very good at acting and putting on a front as like they're a normal person, they're lovable, everyone around them is like, oh, we love Jim, he's great. They're always smiling, they're doing the right things. But sometimes we can just feel that something is off and something is wrong. And I think Kaede is so observant that if one of these people were to cross her path, she instinctually would be like, oh, like, I know that you're up to shit and I will figure you out and I will prove it. Almost, I'm kind of putting her in the situation of, if you've ever seen Death Note, a Light versus L. Which one she is? Probably L. I would put her in L's scenario, and I'm saying that she's coming up against a Light. Somebody who from the outside is really good at playing like they're this amazing, great person who no one would ever suggest. And then when they look over at Kaede, there's just clear recognition of like, you'll never be able to expose me. I will go on like killing everybody and you'll never be able to do anything about it. But whereas in Death Note, it doesn't make L angry, I think in Kaede, it makes her angry because she can see it. She knows and no one else can. And this arrogance and disgusting villainry that this person holds, how they're manipulating everyone around them, I think would make her really angry. So let's try that.
Utter filth. You know I see what you're doing. You may have all these people fooled, but you won't fool me.
Nice. I love it. I love this very calm, cool, even in her anger, she's like, ooh, I'm gonna get you, but in a quick and distinct and abrupt way. She's even blunt with her anger. She's like, you're trash, and I see through you. I love that for Kaede. I love it, I love it, I love it. So let's go into sad here. What's gonna make Kaede sad? Well, we had earlier from the artist that she wanted to go into this field and pursue this because she really looks up to and respects her brother. And her brother's relationship is very strained. So I think it might make her sad that for whatever reason that we don't know of, but you might be able to find out from the artist's lore back on their page, so go follow them. I think whatever this relationship is, she would be rather sad that her brother doesn't see her in the same light. That he's not the brother that she wants, where it's like, I'm so proud of you, I love you, I am so thankful and grateful for who you are. I think she's sad about the fact that she doesn't have that with him because she respects him, and to not get that back is really difficult. So let's try something like that with Kaede.
All I've ever wanted him to say was, I'm proud of you. I don't know why I couldn't see that. He would never say that to me, and he never will.
Aww, that's so sad. It's crazy to have sort of this calm embodiment of emotions but still be able to feel them that strongly. Whew, it is fun working with characters like this. And that is us playing with Kaede today. Thank you to OVO for letting us play with her. This was a lot of fun getting to do one of these types of characters where they're a bit more stoic and observant and blunt and careful with their emotions and rational. These characters are always fun to go with. And so I had a great time working with her today. And everyone, of course, go follow OVO on all of the links below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye!